How you doing? LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. How is everybody? This is Inspire Nation. Robert Murray here. We're starting a new series. We're going to be doing 4 weeks on Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to be having my friend here, Jacob Harrison. He's an amazing guy. He's got a cool story to share. We're going to be trying to cover some topics. Today is mainly going to be an introduction and then walking into what we're going to be talking about. And, you know, the overall kind of, we're going to be getting into PTSD and entrepreneurship throughout the next couple of weeks. If you guys are here, please join us in the comments so that I can pull them up and Jacob can respond or we can respond. And yeah, so that's just easy like that. I'm so glad to be here, like I said. And Jake, so tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a military guy. Why don't you let us know where you're coming from?
Sure. No, I just want to thank you so much, Robert, for giving me the opportunity and all motion. There's a team behind me. Trust me, it's not just me.
Awesome.
I gotta try to show a little humility, right? No, a little bit about me. Geez, I'm originally from Pennsylvania, hometown of Williamsport. If anyone's familiar, North Central Pennsylvania, home of the Little League World Series. Grew up there. From there. See, just on some high, just point on high topics, and then we'll go from there. Grew up there, had a good childhood, then went to boarding school. Then from boarding school, joined the military, did the military thing. Then after I got back from Afghanistan, went to college at Bloomsburg University, got my undergrad in business. From there, transitioned to the DMV, Washington, D.C. area, and I've lived there ever since for about 10 years. And I worked in different federal contracts and just project of myself. And again, Robert, thank you. I have a podcast called All in Motion. And basically that's the podcast that I didn't know it would be turned into a podcast. Just for the fact it's been something that I've been wanting to do for over 21 years and to help people. So all the guests that I have on there, it's accumulated. It's been people that I've been meeting for over 20 years. I mean, we got people that I'm going to be interviewing that used to play for the New York Yankees. I mean, I couldn't believe that I could be saying that. And that's really cool, you know, and they all haven't been the greatest time in my life. There's been a lot more downs than ups, but those downs make us jump back and get back to it, right? That's why.
Right. We're going to get into that this week.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all motion is about. We're all in motion. We're always trying to get to that next level, right? So we bring guests on and we interview them. And this is one of the goals that I had when I started this. And one of my team, she knows this. I told her, I said, I want to start interviewing on another podcast. So again, Robert, I really thank you a lot for this opportunity.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome, man. Try to look at the camera so people can see you when you're talking. Right. No problem. Oh, you're amazing. Jake has been in the military for a while. Jake, you did some tours in the Middle East, right?
That's correct. Iraq and Afghanistan.
Cool. You did 2 tours, you said?
That's right. Twice to Iraq. So 2004, we were in Fallujah and then Baghdad. And then in 2005, went back over. And then I was redeployed with my unit. And we were in Ramadi, which is just right around Fallujah. So, yeah, that's exactly. Then Afghanistan. And in 2008, we were in it's a mountain range called the Hindu Kush. And the area was called Kipisa Province, Tigat Valley. It was the primary valley that we did operations in. So, yes.
Cool, man. So we've all been through some pretty tough times, right? And
right.
we're going to be going into some of that. And so, like, you know, you were sent to military school, right, when you were young, correct? And then
it was sort of military school, but it was more like a program. More like boarding school, but yeah, you're right on the line though. It's pretty much the same thing. Yes.
Yeah. So you've been in the military ever since. You're 38 years old, correct?
Not yet. You're jumping the gun.
Oh, boy, he's almost 38.
No, 38 in March. Thank you, though. 38, okay, 37. Right.
So there's different forms of PTSD, you know, like you were explaining this to me before, you know, like there's PTSD that might come from like some stuff in your past, maybe from family or whatever in your history. And then there's also a different type of PTSD when it comes to being in the military or being actually on tour. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? You can talk about that anything you want.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So actually it was one of the counselors guidance counselors. Him and I actually spoke about a few months ago. He came to the Bible. I got an invite to the Bible Museum in Washington, D.C., and we spoke about it and differentiating the facts of different types of PTSD. So for me personally, it happened when I was really young. And I didn't realize, obviously, I'm so young, I didn't know what that was or what that meant. Father passed away when I was 2, so mom raised me in the way that she, not that I'm laughing, but a lot of people, if I laugh at craziness or crazy things, it's because it's out of the craziest things that sometimes happen in our lives. We laugh at to try to get over that pain, right? But no, my mom disciplined me way differently than children in this last 10 to 20 years have been disciplined. So that created definitely that PTSD. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of crazy. I never didn't have a father. My sister raised me, but she moved off to college. So childhood was a little crazy. And then, I learned disability when I was younger. I had babysitters that would quit. I was just off the chain. And my mom she did an amazing job, but part of that PTSD came in from dealing with those consequences, if that makes sense. So if I made a mistake, I had to be disciplined differently than how 95% of children probably today, in my opinion, get disciplined, if that makes sense. So she did her best, and I got older. And then around the age of 14, after I stopped playing soccer, I was an average soccer player. I was okay. I played JV, and then I started hanging out with some bad people and, doing some things that, obviously it was, getting into trouble. Nothing legal necessarily, but definitely headed down a route that could have been very dangerous in terms of ending up in prison potentially or dead. Hanging out definitely with those type of people. And my mom made a choice, and she called my aunt. They found a place at that time. It's a program, the organization was called WASP. It stands for Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs. And that program at the time, there's several of them. The one I got sent to was in South Carolina, and it was called outside Greenville, called Carolina Springs Academy. So that's where that happened. And it was a crazy experience. Good experience, crazy experience, brainwashing experience. I mean, it was all that combined together.
So that's great. I want to acknowledge some people that are coming in. Jen, thank you for joining us. Jen is amazing. She's also an advocate for mental health, and she's just all about good energy and stuff. And she put up some comments. She's smiling and kissing at us. Thank you, Jen, for coming. I appreciate that. If anybody's joining us live, you guys are more than welcome to put a comment in and ask any of us any questions, and we'll pull it up. And so because of that, you had a pretty strict discipline from the age of 14 on. Right? Or 16.
Yeah.
Whenever.
No, it started at 16. You have 2 guys. I didn't finish, but 2. So my mom made the decision how it worked back then. I don't know. There's not too many boarding schools like that anymore. They basically, what happened was they had 2 men came in my room. I think it was year 2000, and they got me out of bed, and 2 of them took my shoelaces out of my shoes. I just remember walking out, seeing my mom crying in the kitchen, and put me in a car, put me on a plane, and I vanished. And where I grew up in Williamsport, people were like, "What happened to this guy? Where did he go?" And that was boarding school. So it was a shock. And I really think that's why I make the distinction on my podcast when I interview my guests and talk about PTSD. There's different types of PTSD, like I was telling you, the gentleman that was a counselor at the boarding school I went to, compared to PTSD in combat, right? It's 2 different types. It's 2 different types of PTSD. So I experienced that, and one of my guests, actually, I interviewed off of Clubhouse. Her and I on the episode's called "Being Free." We spoke about the different types of trauma. Trauma could be sexual abuse, physical, mental, emotional. So people confuse that. I think when people hear PTSD, I'm not saying everyone, but some people think, okay, a combat veteran or something like that. No, that's not the case. Okay. And that's what I'd like to make on the podcast. And I appreciate you asking the distinction, because it's very different. Especially for, I don't want to bring this up, but for women, unfortunately, our whole time, women are, unfortunately taken advantage of, and we don't really, take notice of that. So I think that's really important to address as well.
That's right. And just to reiterate, Jake, you're in a super safe space here. My
Oh yeah.
network, LinkedIn, everybody we're listening to, we love you. I love you. And so you can just talk about whatever you want to. And if we're in a subject you don't want to talk about,
Oh,
we just
sure.
so yeah, so that's a PTSD. And I also was noticing, like even just being sent off, taken from your parents and your home at that
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
could be something that would be traumatic for me. Was that a big deal for you too? That
That was a big
aspect?
deal because there's a lot of stories, right?
Go ahead.
I had so many. Oh yeah, no, it's funny. I'm just laughing. It's funny. Not funny in a good way. It's I ran away when I was down there in Middle South Carolina, and I'm interviewing a friend coming up soon. He was on the he was on my he was in boarding school with me, and so he'll be actually on my podcast. And he remembered when I ran away. It was the first one I got down there. It was so crazy because you imagine at the age of 16, you're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a state, and then you try to run away. And I remember I ran away with two other guys. They got sent from a program, same organization from Jamaica. And then met up with them, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to run away. So we got together, we made a plan, and we ran away. And then they came back, and I decided, you know what? We gave up, and they came in. We kind of it was just a mess. I didn't want to keep running anymore, so I came back and I worked the program. So that program it's a lot of moving pieces, right? So the biggest thing is the seminars, and that organization. I don't know if they're working anymore. They're called Resource Realizations, and they were a company trained by Tony Robbins primarily back then, because that's most of the time. And it's so funny to listen to me, like all these people today, and I'm not judging anybody. They talk to motivational speakers and this and that. I mean, 21 years ago, I knew about Tony Robbins probably more than. I mean, it's not a comparison, but it's just so interesting to listen to entrepreneurship and things of that nature. I mean, we were like, those are the facilitators that were trained by him. That we went through these seminars, and these seminars were crazy. What they were was they started with discovery, focus, accountability, keys to success, parent-child seminar 1, parent-child seminar 2, and then discovery and focus. I mean, they really break you down to the point of like they make you go through certain processes that expose some of your most insecure things in your life, and really, I mean, in terms of crying, in terms of anything that you've ever been through. And it really at one point it did help me, but I did see there was some of that came out that was I don't know if say brainwashing, because of the way some of the processes and the way they make you think after going through that. I don't think there's programs like that anymore today, in my opinion. There could be, I could be wrong, but not what I went through. And my friend I told you I was going to interview, we're going to definitely get more in depth with that. And he'd definitely be interested bringing him on here as well, potentially somehow.
Sure, absolutely. And I just wanted to just to a couple of these comments here. Jen, she is overcoming sexual trauma. She's overcome that for PTSD, and she's dealing with that.
Right.
And she's no overcomer. She has a live show too, and she's doing amazing things on helping the women going through sexual trauma. And then, and thank you so much, Jen, for being vulnerable. And Patricia says government boarding schools are the worst, is what she says.
This wasn't a government boarding school, but no, I could assume that actually probably would be worse than where I went.
And I'm not sure if you know what Vask Tech is, and I'm not sure who this
No.
guy is. I'm coming from YouTube, but thank you for joining us, and we appreciate the comments. And yeah, and so that's that. So they break you down, kind of, right? Like they break you down and kind of make you maybe they call it reformation here, like it's like reform
Yeah.
school, right? And
Right.
make you like kind of start from the bottom and try to erase all that stuff that has that it's like changing the way you think almost, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's certain processes they do, and they play certain music, and it's my mom and my sister actually went through 2 of them. My mom went through 2, my sister went through 1. And they're not as they're the same some of the same processes, but the processes that we go through are way different. I mean, in discovery, it's like I feel like I honestly tell people this, and people think I might be crazy. Go through that seminar at the age that I did. I've been through military training. I've never been through so some of the hardest schools, and you're not outside, and I'm not trying to compare. this is a physical and a mental thing
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about primarily BUDS, which is base underwater demolition school, which is for Navy SEALs. They have to go through, right? It's probably one of the hardest schools in the world before you become a Navy SEAL, right? I'm not in the Navy. I wasn't in the Navy, but by far, even after you become special forces in the Army, Delta, that's a premier special forces, and obviously Ranger, paratroopers in the Air Force. So, I mean, when you deal with the elite, they go through the hardest training, most vigorous training out of all the military. And I'm not going to knock Germany, obviously the British SAS, Australia, there's some countries out there that have some badass special forces groups. But these seminars, and I talked to people about it, the way that they break you down, it's not the physical part, but the mental part is there with that training. But just like how much like you never thought you would come out of you, they are able to pull that out of you. And those are the seminars. And I don't think anything like that goes on today in terms of what I personally experienced.
So I noticed, I mean, we had talked about this. You have been in government contracts, and you still are, and not so much that you dislike them so much or whatever, but you are venturing into entrepreneurship, and with your podcast and things like that. Do you want to talk about how kind of PTSD is either like something you need to overcome to feel successful in entrepreneurship, or are you kind of blending that and using that adversity to actually grow your audience and be authentic? Can you tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurship?
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, I appreciate that, Robert, for you bringing that up, because that was I sent you the Pyramid of Life.
Of course,
So
yeah,
that was awesome, and I think if you don't mind me sharing about that, I
and
appreciate that.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sorry I don't have the picture right now. Next time I'll pull it up, you guys. And
No,
if you
you're
want
good.
to comment, you can. Yes, tell us about your pyramid.
And that walks right into your question, to your point. So that for me is like, I believe I'm always working on myself. I have bad days and good days. I've had a lot better days now, starting the podcast and through the last 5 or 10 years. But so the Pyramid of Life is I got it out of, I go back 21 years ago to seminar. I brought it out of just things and that experience and through other life experiences that I have learned. So it's the building blocks. So for me, the Pyramid of Life, and it's the foundation of our podcast, is the first building block for me is PTSD and trauma. This is personally what I've been through, and they're just looking at me. Now, the pyramid, before I get further on, for everybody, the Pyramid of Life could be different from everybody, right? Meaning that you could experience something, and there's pillars to each block that I'm about to explain. I just want to make sure that everybody understands. So personally, for me, the first building block of the Pyramid of Life is trauma and PTSD. The second building block is self-development and growth. Self-development and growth for me, excuse me. Unfortunately, I love my mom to death. She sent me away. Did I have a problem for forgiving her? But she did save my life. Joining the military, did it save my life? Yes. But I almost died 3 times. I mean, not to joke around, but I was deployed twice to Iraq, both combat zones, Afghanistan, combat zone. So adding all that together, I'm always dealing with those things, right? And so development, self-growth, the second building block from PTSD and trauma is working out, trying to develop myself, going to therapy, cooking, which is therapeutic, right? Doing other things like that. And then the last building block for me is what we're doing right now, is entrepreneurship for me. Is, and that my definition is different probably from a lot of people. It's setting yourself free. So a lot of people, in my opinion, they think entrepreneurship and they think money. It's, for me personally, it's that is what it's about. But for me, it's being free and setting yourself free. So like right now, this is an opportunity. Even though, I mean, I can't speak for you, I speak for myself. I haven't generated and I'm not making money as of right now. I want to help people. That's the number one goal of doing this in my podcast, and obviously, meeting people great like you. But that's my Pyramid of Life, right? And then I'm always working on those issues and those things every day of my life to be a better person. And that can be different from everybody. That's a model, right? So everybody, it could mean something different to anybody else.
Awesome. In case you weren't reading the comments here, Jen's showing you some love. She says,
Oh, Jen, thank you.
We need to connect, Jake. And
Thank you,
Jen also says, entrepreneurship is a disguise for personal development. And also she says, fuck yeah, Jake's setting yourself free, entrepreneurship. Absolutely. Love you,
Great.
Jen. You guys
Thank you.
definitely,
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
Robert. I'll leave the comments up to you. You're too good at this. I'm just leaving it to you. I can't
Oh, no
respond like you
problem.
can.
I actually took a class to do lead videos. So
No,
even though I
you're
don't,
really good. Like I mean, because you're really good at. I would like to comment, but I want to stay engaged and speak to you. And obviously, thank you, Jen. I'm not Robert though. He's the man.
yeah, so you can speak to any of the comments and they're live. So they hear you. Jen hears you right now. Jen, if you can hear what she said, say, what's up, Jake? She can. She's here. She's an awesome supporter. She was actually, I brought her on my live show the first time when I had Bill Dolan on. Both of them I'd
Okay.
never met before. Yeah, I'd never met before. And I go, oh, Jen, why don't you just come on? Bill Dolan's on. So they both come on and we had a great conversation. And yeah, personal development. Yeah. So she said, what's up, Jake? She's
What's
here.
up?
She's
How
here.
you?
Yep.
Thank you,
So,
Jen.
yeah. And so, well, we are a lot alike because we both are trying to help people and we're both trying to better humanity. And that's what makes it a
Right.
wonderful, amazing human being. And so it's hard to monetize, right? Because you're thinking, I want to be able to help people. So I don't want to charge them for that help. But then we have to understand also, yeah, it was fun on the show. We also have to understand that, in order for us to catch a broader audience and catch that demographic of people that actually have that money that can make a huge influence, we really need to learn how to monetize. And so that's a big part of having this series with Jake is we are trying to monetize our podcasts. And if anybody can help us with some information on that, Jen, whoever, we definitely appreciate that. We can have you on the show anytime. And so we're here about making a change in the world. And I'm here about showing my heart to Jake. And Jake's here being vulnerable. So I really appreciate you being vulnerable and authentic and transparent, Jake. And so, yeah, my show is Inspire Nation is usually about showcasing my guests. And so thank you for filling us in and all your life there. So I wanted to say, do you have shout outs? I know you have an editor that's been helping you out. She probably watched this at some point. Do you want to say hi to her?
Yeah. Well, let me get her. Probably get mad at me. Man.
Okay,
Her
we
name
don't
is
have to.
her name.
Anyway.
We don't. Well, no. We won't use her name. We'll just use. I'll use her. I'll use her. What they call handle? IG handle. I'll use her IG handle because she might. She
Okay.
might not like. I'm sorry. I am on the phone. She might not
No,
like
that's
if I put her name out there. I will put her IG handle out there.
okay. Well,
No,
thank
we
you for
keep going,
helping.
man. Unless you want to cut us
Okay.
off, because I want to keep. If you want to keep talking, we keep talking, man.
Absolutely. Yep. You just talk about whatever you
So,
want to talk about,
so,
bro. Yep.
so,
Wherever you left
so
off.
this is so her IG handle, and she's the woman behind all the math and all the mad science, and the one that puts up with me because I can be very difficult to deal with, and I love her for this. She is the dot. I hope I'm probably not going to say this right. The preventionist. So it's the dot prevent, and then it's IONISTA. Does that sound right, Robert? The preventionist.
The preventionist. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's a word.
I sent you. I think I sent you her IG handle, right? I think I
You
did
probably
before.
did. I haven't checked my IG today.
But that is her. So anybody wants to follow her, she does amazing things. She's finishing her PhD and working on her dissertation. So I'm not gonna say her name. I'm gonna get upset with me. But
Yeah, that's okay. No, we can get past that. No
she's
problem.
amazing though.
No,
She
so
on
you're
my
fine.
podcast. She's amazing though. So it's and that it's very important to connect, right? And
Absolutely.
I think one of my biggest things moving forward now, it's like it kind of brings like the military out of me a little bit, is it's trying to create a team. And I think that's the most important thing with moving forward with this project, regardless of what we do, for the simple fact that whoever we network with or whoever we meet, and that's why I'm trying to structure. Clubhouse has been an amazing tool for me personally. Obviously, I met you. I met some other great people. I have a room that I have every Thursday. I'm not gonna lie. The last few weeks we've been off because of Thanksgiving. I was out of town interviewing people. Excuse me. It's called All in Motion. It happens every Thursday night on Clubhouse at 9 p.m. Again, it's All in Motion, 9 p.m. Clubhouse. It doesn't necessarily follow the podcast, but what it does do, we address some of those issues that you and I are speaking of. Like, for example, last week our topic was addressing domestic violence, and then, I'm not gonna lie, we had some amazing. It went on for about 3 or 4 hours, and we had some amazing. When you have people can come in and share their story, and at this time most of the people that are women, and I'm not a licensed by far, just disclaimer. I'm not a licensed therapist or a psychiatrist, but I can give my own personal experience and opinion. And the women that come in that room, I'm not going to speak for them, but I will speak for in the general, since we've been doing it the last 2-3 months. Some of them say what's that?
Clubhouse is
Yeah.
awesome. Jen wanted to
Yeah.
just ask where you were
Oh, I'm
from.
sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't follow. Go ahead.
Nope, you're good. She just wanted to know where you're from, and he's from Pennsylvania. He's in Pennsylvania right now. That's where he's
Oh,
flying.
no. Washington, D.C. I live in
Oh,
Washington, D.C.
oh, there you
Outside.
go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Continue.
Originally, I'm sorry, Jen. I'm sorry. I wasn't looking at your comments. Originally from Pennsylvania, Williamsport, Pennsylvania, but live outside Washington, D.C. and Alexandria, Virginia.
Great. I know I interrupted you there. You were on.
No, you're good. No, you're good. No, I was just saying we having a just like you and I met through someone on Clubhouse. It's just definitely a great experience. It's been just a tremendous experience, and it's been so fast. And then look at where we are here. It's I think it's I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been hard, and I appreciate Jen. And
She's
is it a
in New York.
struggle? She's in New York. Is it city?
She's in. She says, "I'm in New York." Are you in the city, Jen? Are you in New York City? I think she's upstate New York. She just gave you a heart,
Okay.
so maybe.
I got a lot of people. I got a lot of people. I have friends from the city. So okay, she's upstate, so she's probably like near
Yep.
yeah, Albany. Okay, I got you. Yeah, no, I got a lot of friends from the city, New York, and everything. But no, I love New York. It's good. It's good. It's a good vibe and good people.
Cool, man. And I'm coming from Alaska. Most everybody knows, but there's some YouTube people
Awesome.
that are new. And I love my New Yorkers. I have Thomas Queter's from New York. He's on here. Jen was from New York. She was on here. I don't know what it is, but it must be they're like the farthest place from me. But New Yorkers are pretty awesome. So you're always welcome on my show, just so you know. Love the hell out of you. You guys, every Wednesday here for the next 4 weeks, at least we may extend it longer. I'm going to be having Jake on, and we're going to dig deeper and deeper into his story and PTSD and entrepreneurship. So please join us every dinosaur, Alaska and his dinosaur. Oh yeah, I have dinosaur.
Is there other people, Robert? Is there other people, Robert, that are on right now that just aren't commenting? Can you doing it to see that or no?
You see all the comments. I've been throwing all the comments up on screen. So we have.
No, I'm saying, is there other people watching that we don't know about, possibly, or no, on other different platforms?
Yeah,
I'm just kind of curious.
People watching right now. There's 3 on. Looks like there's 3 on Facebook, and then there's 2 on LinkedIn and 1 on YouTube right now.
Okay, so how's that average? Is that common number? Not to get into analytics on the show, but I'm just kind of curious.
So if you see, I don't know if you can see on your screen, but you see a little eye up there. It says 3. Now I'm believing that's 3 people that are on Facebook that are viewing this. And then the little thing next to it, that's how many people have commented. And this is the live, so it's not how many people have been in and out. That's the people actually here right now watching.
No, it's cool.
As we go on and we do some more advertising and stuff, to hold over 6 people live the whole time viewing is actually really good on a live stream.
Awesome.
Like just to give you an idea, like Larry Sharp, he ran for governor in New York, and when he does his lives are between like 12 and 15 people on average constantly. So like if we have to, we're not doing bad for our first show. We're actually doing really good, and we haven't really done any advertising. We haven't done anything. No. So
we've done anything.
Doing awesome. Mm-hmm.
I was on the phone tonight, and I'm saying I was doing because I don't want to text and drive, but I literally tried to push it as much as I could. That's why I brought it up. No, I don't want to. I was told not to bring the numbers up, but it wasn't. Some people told me on the All Emotion, my podcast, not to bring it up, but I just want to welcome. I want to thank Robert. Zelina, Jen, scroll up, Patricia, the Vast Tech, Patricia. No, I just want to thank everybody because it's awesome. That's why I don't it shouldn't be all that matters is the people that are here. But I just want to let yourself know and your audience know that I did my best because we just try to put this together to get the most amount of people. The most important people that matter right now are the people that are here.
Patricia is on in the LP Liberty Talk Radio a lot. She's in the Liberty Party. She's on the campaign, so I talk to her a lot. She supports Thomas Queter, so she's amazing. We'll be seeing her every time, which is awesome. Jen is my LinkedIn. She's on Facebook right now, but she's a good LinkedIn friend. When I first started doing my live, she was one of my first people I had on my show, and she's just been a good supporter. My network is just so amazing. We know how to be present for each other. That's like really like the hugest thing, especially during this pandemic, is being there, showing up, showing the love, and and being vulnerable with each other so that we can feel, love so much that people feel safe and confident. I like to say that. And then and then also, Elena is also, I met her on Clubhouse. She is amazing, amazing, amazing. She's a beautiful, beautiful person. You'll probably get a chance to meet her as well. And Patricia says, "You loyal followers." Yes, I do have loyal followers. And Jen, Patricia, you're one of Jen.
I looked at your LinkedIn. I gotta make you a joke real quick. Yo, I looked at your LinkedIn. I want to delete it after I looked at your LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
I said I want to delete my LinkedIn. I felt like a toad. I felt like a toad or like a little mouse on the street. You're like this big rat, not a rat in a bad way, but like I was like, damn. I was like, did I ever see this many followers? I was like, I'm like a little peon to this guy.
You guys are chick magnets, she says. Well, he's definitely and a guy magnet. Why do I think I interview him? I'm just kidding. You're a good-looking guy.
It's all good.
And so yeah, well, LinkedIn, was where I started doing all my real.
Yeah, if you don't want me not to interrupt you, tell me about you, man. So I'd like to interview you for a second. It's okay.
Right. So okay. I grew up. I was born and raised here in Alaska. My grandfather homesteaded this 90 acres back in 1968. He was fleeing from after the war, and he eloped with my grandma from Italy. And so there's no tax on the property. It's a free-range homestead property. Right now, there's nobody here but me and my 22 chickens and my dog. I graduated in a class of 6 people, same place my dad graduated. I played hockey for 9 years. And I've just been wanting to reach out and be able to kind of make a difference and an influence on people. And and so this is why I lived out on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has been just a lifesaver. Like, I really wanted to create connections that are real, authentic people that show up every time. It's not about the numbers. It's about how, if we have 1,000, if you just had 1,000 loyal followers, you really can make 10 grand a week, even if you want to. It's not about the money, but like loyal followers will be there and will support you and definitely have you on their shows and stuff like that. And
hey,
your
Jen.
Class of 6. Wow, that's a pretty long time ago.
Hey, Jen, how you doing?
Class of 6, yeah. Yeah, so 6 people. I was the president of my class, and I was the president of my 9th, 10th grade as well. And I'm the only one in my family that stayed here on the property because I just feel a little uncomfortable in the city. I'm more of a woods guy. I haul wood, I sell firewood, and I haul water. I don't have running water. I run and go get the water. I say that a lot. I mean, that's a joke. And then, but that's the truth. And so in the wintertime, it's pretty lonely. And so I just stay here and take care of my family and get on LinkedIn and Clubhouse and whatever I can do to make a difference. And so people like you are why I do what I do, because I like to see hope return in people's eyes, not specifically you, I'm not saying about that, but I like it when you speak life, when you speak love into people, it opens their eyes and it brings hope back. And that's what it's about. And that's why I've been doing this. And we're going to monetize, boy, we're going to do it. And we're going to make an influence on this world. And you already are. I thank you for the service that you do too,
sure.
Because I don't have the balls to do that.
Yeah. I would like to say a couple things before we close out. I know we're running. I know there's not a time, but I'm going. What's you cool? We're cool with time.
We got as much time as you want, buddy. Yeah.
No. Yeah, for sure. No, I just want to. It's not a shout out, but there are some guys that will watch this. Hopefully, that they are. It's I can't get emotional, but it took me a lot of time to come up with these questions, and I'm going home tomorrow. Oh, hopefully today. 2 of them start tomorrow. They're all combat veterans out of 4 of them. They all served in Iraq, and 2 of them served in Iraq and Afghanistan. One was a medic, served in Afghanistan. The other one, he was a Marine. Oh, what? I get think of it. 2 served in Iraq and Afghanistan. 1 served in Afghanistan. 1 served in Iraq, and then the other one, and he also served in Bosnia back in, oh my God, like probably I'd say the mid 90s, probably, or early 90s. They're all very close to me. They saw a lot of things. I've served in combat, and I just want to say before I get off here that please, not just to share in the wrong way, but I think I didn't know if I was going to do this, but I made a decision. I think I've interviewed some veterans already, 1 or 2, but I think I'm just going to for a whole month, just let everybody have it. Because I was on Clubhouse the other day and someone asked me, he's like, can you tell me some war stories? And I didn't really get it. I told him a couple of things, not get too much into it, but it's not the war stories. It's just awareness about what happened, because I'm not going to get into like the political or the wars or anything, but I'm just excited about going home. And I've been trying to do these interviews with them. They all know who I'm talking about for the last a year, and I've known them since 2004, 2005, and they served amazingly. So they're just the prep in these interviews has been a lot. And there's some anxiety there on my part, but I just want to make sure I get the best product out for everyone that, just to spread awareness about what we really do, what Americans really need to appreciate, people that have served. So that's what's
great.
something I think. Yeah.
Some people can't talk, like people that are on tours. So I'm not a vet, but I know that they have a hard time talking about it, and it might be because they just might not feel safe, or they might not feel safe
Yeah.
being vulnerable, And so what you're doing is you're encouraging others, and that's why I titled this our little series here, "Share, Heal, and Inspire." Because as you're sharing, you are healing. It's therapeutic for me. It's therapeutic for our listeners, and the way you push your narrative is literally will save lives. And so your unique diversity makes you the beautiful person that you are, and people want to hear you and listen to you, especially me. And that's why we can go more than 4 weeks if we want to. We can go as long as you want to
I
as
love
well.
it.
But I'm comfortable with you, and we love you again. So definitely
Yeah,
Inspire Nation.
and lastly, I just want to address the mental health part of it, and the PTSD is the fact that there are veterans. I don't know the current number, but that is part of our mission. Is I'm going to create an organization, hopefully outside of the podcast, that the veterans suicide rate is always high, and it's the highest. I mean, 3-4 years ago it was at almost 20 a day. I know it might not be that high anymore, but it's at least 15, 16 on average a day, even higher. So that's something I'd like to address. So yeah, thank you for letting me share that. That's one thing one of the last things I wanted to put out there and to share with your audience.
So, thank you for coming. And this, we're gonna do about 45 minutes between 30 and 45 minutes on usual. This episode, like I said, guys, is more about just getting to know, a little background on Jake. And so this is just a quick little introduction and a welcome for our friend. And then next week we can dig deeper, and of course, you can talk about whatever you want to. But I know there's a lot of things that you just kind of jumped over to do a quick little bio for you, and that's perfect, and that's what we want. And so we're gonna go ahead and cut this out here. Is there any last shout outs you'd like to do?
Did any of the guests in the audience? I know we're about to run out of time. Did they want to ask any last quick questions before I know it's your show, but I feel like I didn't address any of it.
Perfect. Exactly. Jen, whoever's watching, if you have any questions for Jake, go ahead and put in the comments and we'll ask away. And so, yeah, Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be now in the next 3 weeks as well. And we might go even longer into the next year. 2022 is going to be amazing because 2022 I've set
it's gonna blow up. Yeah, 2022 is gonna be serious.
I've set the intention to monetize and to bring that prosperity. So if you're hanging out with me, that's going to be the topic, and I'm glad you're here. Shout out to Brian Schulman. He inspired me so much. Oh, Patricia's got a question here. It says, I saved a life a week ago. Vet friend going to be homeless next month, stranded in another state. If we would have went to a shelter, statistically, he would have relapsed. I drove to pick him up, moved him in, and have had him in an outpatient program and employed in 1 week. Wow, Patricia, I love you so much. Thank you for doing that.
Hey, Patricia, that's what's up. Seriously, one love. Seriously,
I love you.
Seriously, that's a lot of love. Seriously, Patricia, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm. And Jen says, I'm interested in your idea for vet support. Going to reach out to you, Jake. That's great. Thank you so much, Jen. That's what this is about. Hearts from Jen, hearts from Patricia. I love you guys so much. And so join us. This is InspireNations, Robert Murray, and my new friend, and feels like I've known you forever because we have the same heart. And
I'll just do what
love. I always do that. I'm always
I'll just do one.
Loving, so.
If it's okay if I close out just one last thing, I'll just do my I don't like to call them plugs. Plugs on my shout outs. Yeah, the main thing.
This is your
friend. My goodness. This is her. There she is. This is her.
Looks like this will be a great team. Awesome show. Thank you so much. Oh, that's great. Awesome. And message me.
Oh my goodness. She joined. She's in the middle of finishing something. She's mad at me right now, probably because she told me to leave her alone.
What you?
She knows I'm going to give her a hard time. No, I love her.
Okay.
I love her. But no, she's amazing. Thank you for joining. She knows who
Go
she
ahead,
is.
do your plug.
Yeah, no. So no, real quick, I gotta look. So no, definitely, please, thank you, Robert. This is amazing. No, I'm serious, man. This means a lot to me. It really does, and all the emotion, all in motion team. So like I
Have
said,
you
it's
heard
not
of
just me.
Have you heard of Clear Path for Vets? Patricia was asking.
Oh, Patricia asking a question. Oh no, Patricia, hit me up offline. But definitely speak on LinkedIn or Facebook or Patrick. How do you deal with Robert? I said Patrick. I said, how do you deal with all these? There's a lot of things to monitor, right?
And I'm
Yeah,
on the little.
Facebook.
I don't have this much room too. I'm on my phone.
Oh my goodness, I had to
That's
do
why I
it on the
use my
computer,
hand
bro.
all the time, and I'm like, can I read it? Patricia, you're
No, it's
awesome.
awesome. No,
Nonprofit doing amazing things. Okay.
so I know we got to roll out soon here because you went probably a little over. No, I just want to say, so follow us, All in Motion Podcast. It's All in Motion Podcast. All together, no periods, a dot on Instagram. From there, you can link our LinkedIn street. So it's if anybody follow LinkedIn street, it's on the bio. So it's at All in Motion Podcast on Instagram. And then the bio there, the link tree has has these episodes, these live. So for the preventionist, she will post all your links that you sent me tonight. They'll get posted every night from our audience on Instagram, and then from there, the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then from there, after this is recorded, we'll post it, and then it will go out to all our directories, which is obviously the main three: Spotify, YouTube, and Google. And then obviously there's some other ones like iHeartRadio and things like that.
Awesome. So I'm so glad, and we'll get your YouTube channel hooked up next week. Preventionist, if you can get in touch with us or whatever, sometime, anytime, so that we can figure out how to link the YouTube. I think you may have to open a StreamYard account. Is the thing. I added you as administrator, but I think you might actually have to open a StreamYard account. Is possibly what it is, and we'll figure that out in the back channel. And so, last shout out. Brian Schulman, you inspired me because, he has a shout out Saturday on LinkedIn, and that was the first live that I've ever been on. I was just like, oh, it was so welcoming. He inspired me. Nancy Barrows, you inspire me. She's dealing with sexual trauma. She was sexually abused by her grandfather since she was until she was 16 years old, and she's public about that. So it's okay that I'm name dropping because her live platform is about overcoming that stuff and being vulnerable and being present. And also, Jen, thank you, of course, and Tim Sohn. This is the Tim dance. We're doing the Tim dance. Tim Sohn, he is my coach and teacher that taught me how to do my live stream. So Tim Sohn, thank you so much.
Okay. One last thing, Robert, if it's okay before we go. I think I already did this, but no, definitely, like, it's not just women, but we've been doing it a lot of. If anybody's on Clubhouse, we have a room. We kind of were off for a little bit. We're back on it. It's at 9 p.m. on Thursdays Eastern, and it's All in Motion. It's a club on Clubhouse. So, like, again, we address very serious issues. Some of the issues that you probably won't see on Clubhouse have some really great moderators. They know who they are, and I appreciate them. And thank you again, Robert. I appreciate everything, man.
Absolutely. Okay, you guys, happy holidays. If I don't see you again, I'll see you, Jake. But if I don't see my crowd again, I love you very much. And peace, love, and rock and roll, because I love rock and roll. She said she's coming to visit you, Jake.
Hey, I love your audience. I love your audience. You're all amazing. I love you all.
On Clubhouse too. We love you.
Take care.
Night, guys. Night, ladies. Night. Okay.
Take care.
Stay on. We're gonna be in the studio, Jake.
Cool. No problem.